Marvel 616 is filled with a diverse array of characters, some good and some not so good. While Professor X is loved by everyone and a founding member of the X-Men, his stepbrother Kane Marko has been a terrorist, a criminal, and a thorn in the side of the X-Men, as well as an occasional ally. But what many don't know is that the Unipower, yes, the Enigma Force itself, once chose the Juggernaut and made him Cap Universe. Move over, Steve Rogers, there's a new captain in town. Now, we know you fellas, you must be wondering, how did the Juggernaut, a menace, get the Enigma Force on his side? Well, let's see. Peter Parker, the Uniforce, and Marko had one hell of an adventure, spanning issues 627 to 629, the Amazing Spider-Man 1963 comic series. Before we dive into that though, here's a bit about our main characters.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
The Juggernaut, bitch!
The Juggernaut. There's not much to say about Marko. An abused kid, he hated his stepbrother Charles because he thought that the emerging telepath invaded his thoughts on purpose. Eventually in Korea, he came into contact with the Cosmic Stone and became the avatar of Cyttorak on Earth. After clashing with heroes like the Hulk, Spider-Man, and aiding heroes like Doctor Strange in various adventures, he eventually reformed and joined the X-Men, even trying to con the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants to protect his fellows. More adventures followed, with the character playing various roles as both hero and villain, and one of those stories is how he became Captain Universe, one of the strongest forces in the Marvel Universe. Yeah, Spider-Man calls the one with the strongest power in the Marvel Universe blue. Fits the Peter Parker we know. But who is this Captain Universe? And what is the Enigma Force that makes one Cap U? The Enigma Force. The Enigma Force is a force of the universe, simply put. It's the god of light, a sentient force that is opposed to Krull, the King in Black. It's what everything stems from, and it is a tool used by the Beyonders to man the various universes in the multiverse, as well as something that helps separate the microverse from the macroverse of the Marvel Universe. What does this all mean? It's like a cosmic power which, when it bonds with a host, and rarely hosts, makes them super OP. Think like the spirit of Rava in ATLA. Of course, we would assume that such a spirit would only bond with the best, the goodiest of them all, such as, say, Spider-Man, but that's not always the case. Anti-heroes like Deadpool have donned the mantle of Cap U, and so has the stepbrother of Professor X, aka the Juggernaut. Seriously, what is with Marko and cosmic entities? So how did this team up happen, and what part does Parker's luck play in all this? How did Juggernaut become Captain Universe? Well, the story starts in NYC, which makes sense because that's the web-slinger stomping grounds. Using his spider sense, or as the MCU dubbed it, Peter Tingle, Parker finds a meteorite that is crashing on Earth, only for it to turn out to be Juggy. Marko is taken into custody, but the web-slinger isn't satisfied. Something feels off, and so he breaks into the armory and investigates. Peter, as always, brings an impeccable sense of humor, and the lives of the everyday man to the pages, especially when he sees someone trying to beat Marko while he's out cold. Not only does the good-hearted hero ask them to stop, because yes, Juggy usually deserves a punch or two, but beating the man while he's down ain't what a hero does. But also because government property might get harmed in the process, and that is not a good use of Parker's tax dollars. Even soups have taxes. Makes me feel better about mine. Anyway, Peter finds out that it's the OP Blue, aka Captain Universe himself, that's trying to knock Juggy out of the way, and decides to get into a tussle with the man, after drawing him to a secluded place. He just wants to talk to the big guy and understand why he's so mad at Juggy, and also stop the man from doing something the Enigma Force won't like. And that makes sense, considering our friendly neighborhood Spidey has been Cap U already. Okay, this all sounds fun, but where is Juggy and how does he tie into all this? Why does he become Cap U when there's someone else already hosting Enigma? Patience, my young Padawan. But long story short, the man who's hosting Enigma wants to ruin Juggernaut's life, like he thinks Juggy did to him. Now, whether that's vengeance or justice is beyond me, but Enigma doesn't like being used for personal stuff. There's bigger fish to feed. There are also fissures in the tectonic plates below NYC, and that's not good. Like really bad. Horrible, really. A little geography lesson? Tectonic plates are kind of like the crust, and our home, lands, farms, oceans, and people are the toppings. Now these plates, below them is boiling lava and magma, so if these tectonic plates have fissures, we could have lava spouting out of them. Like we said, not good. So anyway, this new Cap U is about to start working on the problem when he senses Juggy nearby and gets mad. Leaving his task, he instead comes out to fight Juggernaut and Spider-Man, who have unintentionally become a team. Funny how one day you're dragging a man to prison, and the next day you guys are working together together to save NYC. Only in Marvel, Enigma gets pissed off and takes away the power from William Nguyen, and instead gives it to Juggernaut. Spidey helps a little, the faults are sealed, catastrophic earthquakes prevented, an important lesson is revisited. With great power comes great responsibility. Our new Cap U flies away. Nguyen starts a foundation to help people who have faced difficulties so as to make up for the damage he did as Captain Universe, and Peter hangs out with a beautiful woman. Happy ending, except Pete's still unemployed and web fluid cost a dime a dozen. But that's another story with the Amazing Spider-Man. So what did you all think? Should Juggy have gotten Cap U's powers? Will Uncle Ben's advice impact yet another hero? And did Nguyen prove that not all heroes need to be supers? Sometimes a man trying to do the right thing, like he was at the end of this story, can make a difference. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And until then, it's time for a marvelous review. This comic run did a great job of keeping the story focused on Peter, our narrator, and tying into his big theme. With great power comes great responsibility. Sure, Juggy had an arc, and so did Nguyen. Yes, it was Juggy who became Cap U and saved the day, instead of our favorite web-slinger. But despite being the story of how the Juggernaut became Captain Universe, we revisit what makes Peter Parker so awesome. The everyday man worried about his tax dollars. The innovative superhero. The one who quips and credits physics and geometry for his victory. We see all three characters' respective traumas at different stages. Nguyen losing a job that cost him a relationship, his stability, and led to suicide. Juggernaut's escapades, which make him think Nguyen's trauma is nothing. And Spidey's trauma at losing Ben, which gave him an overinflated sense of responsibility, balanced with empathy for others. The story says a lot in between the lines. Both Nguyen and Peter are everyday men down on their luck, and gifted with great power. Both start out as self-centered and then become responsible. It's almost as if we're revisiting Peter's start as a superhero, just without the death, and the character says so much. Juggy shows us that even the worst have reasons to become who they are. Not every harm is intentional, but Nguyen shows us why it's still important to make amends while we can. And both together show us how comparison is the killer of empathy and happiness. Lessons we can all learn, though perhaps with a pinch of salt. After all, we're neither rich like Nguyen, powerful like Juggy, or a super like Spidey. Acknowledging our limitations and still striving to do good is important, because with great power comes great responsibility, even towards yourself. And that, folks, is the untold story of how the Juggernaut became Captain Universe.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.